Now, the tariff shambles isn't the only storm on the horizon in the US at the moment. The East Coast has been hit by a massive snowstorm, leaving more than 600,000 homes without power at last count and grounding at least 5,000 flights. I'll talk to US analyst Kristin Tate in a moment, but here's an update first from Fox News.
Snow across the Northeast already being measured in feet as this blizzard continues to pummel the region. The heavy and dense snow combined with high winds of up to 60 miles per hour have also left more than 600,000 without power. Still, many were out enjoying the winter wonderland, including in New York's Central Park and Times Square.
We've been dancing in Times Square this morning in the middle of the road in rush hour. Just dancing and not believing we could do it.
That is some weather, isn't it? Kristin Tate's been in Boston and she's now in New Hampshire, so I asked for her assessment.
This has been an absolutely epic snowstorm for the East Coast. Interestingly, it kind of hit New York and Connecticut and Rhode Island the worst. I read that in Newport, Rhode Island, they got the most snow on record for any single day. My poor mother lives on Cape Cod full-time in Massachusetts. She said she can't even open her door and she's had no power like all day. North of Boston, where my home is, still seems to have no power. I'm up in New Hampshire now, where weirdly in New Hampshire, there hasn't been as much snow. But it was, I have to say, as a snow lover, a gorgeous snowfall, blizzard. Everything is just coated in white. It's perilous for people, of course, who are sitting without power and cold. And I don't know how long it's going to take for, these power companies to restore power to a lot of these folks. So that's not good. But if you love the snow and you've been waiting through these last few duds of winters, like I have, to get out there on skis, you're loving this. It's beautiful. And I know this is probably hard for you to picture. I know you guys are all working on your tans over there in Australia in the summer. But it really is one of the most epic snowstorms we have gotten in New England in the last few years. Last couple of years, there's really been no snow here.
It's not your first one for the winter, though, is it? Because I remember talking to you some weeks ago. You were barricaded in a house. You couldn't get out through the snow. So it's been a particularly severe winter.
Yeah, that's right. A couple of weeks ago, I don't even got 3.5 feet in Boston or something. And so this is the second one. Now they're saying there's a third one maybe coming later this week. So, I just have to chuckle, Chris, because a couple years back, I was reading the New York Times and there's a big headline that said the end of snow. And it was written by one of these, global warming doomsdayers. And I got so scared, because I love skiing. I love the snow. And I started to kind of buy into that a little over the last few years, where the snow has just been very thin and wet and it's been warm. But no, I think they were wrong. This year, the snow has come back to get us.
Yeah, not much talk about global warming just at the moment in the US. Let's go to an issue that is dominating the discussion, and that is Donald Trump's setback in his tariff plans, his tariff battle. The Supreme Court has knocked out, made clear he doesn't have the authority to impose taxes. Here's what the president says.
I'm ashamed of certain members of the court, absolutely ashamed, for not having the courage to do what's right for our country. They also are a, frankly, disgrace to our nation, those justices. Today I will sign an order to impose a 10% global tariff under Section 122 over and above our normal tariffs already being charged.
Typical Trump there, of course, Kristin. He lashes out at the Supreme Court. But the law here is very clear, isn't it? That if you want to impose tariffs, a tax measure, he just has to get Congress to pass laws. Obviously, that's not going to be possible for him, though.
Yeah, although I think he found a loophole here because he's found another way to impose tariffs on a temporary measure based off of some old, or the president does have the power to do that under the law.
But only for 120 days.
Exactly. And I guess that these tariffs will be effective immediately. He's hiked them to 15% now. They are global. What I will tell you, Chris, is the vast majority of Americans who I speak to have a totally different view of this issue than the media does. The media is hair on fire right now. They are so upset by these tariffs. They're rooting for the Supreme Court. They love that ruling. The vast majority of normal Americans, they kind of support Trump's tariffs. Even the liberals that I talk to, people are starting to wake up to realize that, balanced trade is not protectionism. It's actually just fairness. You know, the European Union's been charging us 10% on American cars, while we charge 2.5% on theirs. Canada, right to our north, maintains dairy barriers that can exceed 200% above quota. I mean, I could sit
Yeah.
here and list the imbalances for you. We've gone over this. So Americans, they support these tariffs. But you're right, this is a blow to Trump, and the new tariffs he's imposed are temporary.
Yeah, look, I'm a free trader, but I think Trump's use of tariffs has worked. You know, he's forced fairer trade between America and Europe. He's forced fairer trade between America and China, crucially. So they've been an important weapon for him, and it's actually helped to liberalise trade, ironically enough, paradoxically enough. But I tell you what, we could talk about this all day, but I know what you're most interested in when it comes to US politics is what Robert De Niro thinks. Here's the latest comments on politics from the famous actor.
You're always about lifting up everybody around you, everybody.
Of course.
Why is that?
You have to. You have to lift people up.
Why?
You have to bring them together. Period. You can't divide people. You can't win that way.
De Niro's getting all teary now, Kristin. This is a bloke who's done nothing but abuse Trump for the past 10 or more years.
Yeah, bringing himself to tears with how profound he thinks he is. It is just, these people are becoming more irrelevant by the day. No, but no normal Americans care about these movie actors anymore. And, Hollywood can't seem to figure out why nobody likes them. These Hollywood celebrities, they are so laughably out of touch.
Kristin, the thing with De Niro, the one thing I would say about him, and I think we would all agree, he is a brilliant actor. So the question we're left to ask ourselves is whether what we just saw from De Niro is acting or the real De Niro, or if, in fact, this is the real De Niro.
I mean, he's so blatantly stupid. He's a punk. He's a dog. He's a pig. He's a con, a bullshit artist. I'd like to punch him in the face. This is somebody that we want for president? I don't think so.
There's De Niro on Trump again. Which is the real De Niro?
Oh, man. I actually think both are the real De Niro. I think that this is a man who truly despises Trump and the half of the country who love Trump. Talk about bringing people together, by the way. He says he wants to punch Trump in the face. But then I also think he genuinely does bring himself to tears. He thinks he is just that profound. This is how out of touch these Hollywood celebrities are. And they wonder why nobody tunes into their silly awards shows anymore, why nobody pays to go see their movies at the box office. This is your answer.
Thanks for unpacking it all for us again, Kristin. Appreciate it.